Okay, so just to review like the project outline. Oh my gosh, sorry. Can you guys hear my dog barking? That is
Yes.
loud for me. Sorry about that. Hang on, I might have to move him before I get started.
Okay.
Darcie,
Yeah.
I just wanted to say I may not stay for the whole class. My kids are coming later today, so I need to do some preparation.
Okay, yeah, I'm recording and I will send the link if you want to catch the part that you miss. And hopefully you'll just be able to see Kathryn's paint demo and then you can take it from there.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So just to go over again, like the project that we're working on for those of you who weren't here, like the first week we were focusing on learning how to do drawing from observation. And then this week we are looking at color and color theory and paint mixing. So yeah, so today's goals, first we're just gonna check in about last week's work and then do a little lesson about color theory and just practice manipulating colors and get more comfortable with mixing them just through that practice. And then the main thing that like the overarching goal is to just like be intentionally thinking and working with color in the self-portrait painting. So yeah, and one of the things is that we're going to use the drawing from the last week as resource material to make a painting. Okay, so yeah, so to start with, I want to just like check in on everyone's work from last week. Did anyone keep working on their portraits?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, how did it go?
Go ahead, Shirley.
Who?
You.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Well,
Nice.
It's got some of it are, it's like some of the pieces are close, but it really isn't me, and not yet. And so I'm trying to figure out this part, I had it too long. And there's too much of this because my forehead, I don't have that big a forehead.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think.
I do. I need your forehead. Mine's too small.
Anyway, I'm trying to work on it, and I started really light so I could barely see the lines. And now I'm getting it darker and darker and going over different areas and going back to the mirror and looking again. And I had nightmares about it. And anyway, so that's
Nightmares about it, yikes.
dream. Well, I had a dream about it, and I just like, oh my God. I woke up.
Really thinking about it a lot. I was too. I thought about it a lot. I'll show you mine.
Yeah.
It's not where it needs to be, okay? But it's better than last week.
Nice.
Good.
Raise it
Up
higher.
Higher. There you go.
There you go. Nice. Good job on your drawing.
Oh, wow.
Doesn't it look different? Because I went in and I had my eyes out here and I came in and I also was able to get the lighter thing I'm going to do for my eyes by asking you the question I asked last week about the pupil and all that. Anyway, it was really exciting because I liked it, but it takes a long time. A lot of discipline.
Yeah.
Anyway, it scares me, but that's why I like it.
Yeah, I'm really glad. I love just how engaged you guys are with it. That's great. My dad always says that like with the nightmare thing, like if you're not like that engaged in it, like then you're doing something wrong, like so that's good. But
sometimes nighttime is problem solving too. You'll wake up with an answer. I know my forehead's too big or something. You'll wake up with it, Oh yeah, you run to the table and fix it. Yeah.
That's great. I had intended to go back and add like a hand, and I don't have my neck on there. I just have, right? And I just kind of flaked, frankly. So here's what I've got. My camera is not by my screen, so.
Nice, that's coming along good.
Right.
It's coming along real good.
If I had worked on it
actually, it really hints of you.
Does it?
Really?
Before
yes.
I came on, I was saying, "Oh, I got it," but I don't like it, and I think it's vanity. But if it hints of me, that's okay.
Hey, I had to start drawing wrinkles in there. I was like, I gotta be honest.
I
Yeah,
know.
I was
I
doing
had
this
myself
gel
looking like a
stuff and
doormat.
was like, oh no.
Oh, reality.
Do you guys
Right.
think, I'm gonna ask a true statement, like, so when you look at them, do you see any of me in this?
Yeah.
Or do you think I'm just out of my mind because I've been looking at it so long and I know myself? I'm talking about real feedback because I don't need to hear,
Like
oh, that's great.
the shape of your hair, I
Mhm.
think you really got that.
I think you're getting in, the eyes are getting the right kind of character also. Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. I think the eyes are really good.
Okay, so keep going, keep working on it.
Just keep going.
I just wanted feedback because, like, my sister will say, "Oh, that's beautiful." I'm like, "Okay, can you tell me if my head looks out of proportion? Is my eye on the other side of my ear? Ah, it's so good. I couldn't do that." I want to grow in it, So I want to know.
Well,
Thank you.
I had trouble with, I don't think the proportions are right. My nose looks too big or something. Something's not quite right. And the shape, maybe, I don't know. Any feedback? I have two different eyes because I was trying to figure out which one was more accurate.
Which one do you like better for the eyes?
I don't really know. I don't know.
Have you done any work this week?
No.
I
Yeah.
felt like if I didn't pick it back up, I was going to lose my connection to it because I didn't want to do it.
I think you just keep on staying with it, and you
Yeah.
sometimes, like, you're not going to always come out with the perfect representation from your first try, so, don't judge what you're doing. Just, okay, it's good to observe and ask questions and look for the details. Like for me, checking the proportion, like, okay, the edge of the eyes, do they line up with the edge of the mouth, or the eyes are wider, the mouth, the mouth lines up with like the middle of the eyes, and just
does?
checking things like, so is my jaw, the angle right? Is it too round? And just making little adjustments and continuing to push your drawing. That's how I sort of feel about it. Kathryn, what would you think?
Yeah, for sure. I think it looks good. I would just encourage you to keep working on it too.
I got mine far away.
Good. I like
Same
it.
thing, it's
Yeah,
like
that looks good.
there's
Oh,
kind
I
of some
love
fuzzy
it.
in there, but it
There's
has,
somebody who's done it
it's-
before.
it's, well, yeah, but still I'm not highly practiced at portraiture really. So same thing for me, just looking to see adjustments, the proportion. That's what I can. And then I thought about Kathryn's lesson last time where we looked at composition, and we were just looking at like famous artists, and we looked at thick lines where that artist put a composition together. So I didn't get to it, but I was thinking about putting up a tracing paper on my paper and just making the real thick lines and not really trying to go into the heavy detail of, make Darcie perfectly like I look, but actually make it go for now something kind of close, and then get a composition to go into my painting. So we'll see, it's just an ongoing thing. You just keep practicing,
Well, the questions you asked are helpful. I wouldn't have thought to say, okay, do my eyes line up with my
Me either.
mouth? I mean, those are guidelines that are very helpful. I don't know what other kinds of things to look for.
That's all. I think that's the main thrust. I mean, just stick with that for now, and then you can, look at other aspects of portraiture, but just to keep it flowing, think about looking at your own face, like, for example, the ears are usually kind of lined up with the top of the ear is roughly where the eyes are. Bottom of the ear maybe kind of comes in around the mouth, and just sort of look for things like, that's what I would say for getting, but then again, when we're going to go into painting, maybe Kathryn's going to take us in a different direction with that. So
Yeah, one thing I would say about proportions too is just like you can just look in the mirror. I don't remember if I touched on this, but like if you hold like just a pencil up to your face, and then you can look at like, okay, like there's like the distance from my nose to like my chin is the same as like from here to here, and just like look at it that way. So just like you can measure as you go and just look at parts and their relationship to other parts.
That's a good tip. Yeah, you did mention that. I've forgotten it. And we had looked at on Friday, even the fact that like your eyes, the width or the length of your eye is about the same as the length that will be between your eyes. So if you have your eye is this wide, the space between might be about as wide, again, eye, and then even to out to the side of your head could be pretty similar, give or take. So anyway, just looking for some kinds of regularities. And the other thing is like, you're looking at trying to make, oh, does it look like me? But the other flip side of that is looking for light and dark, and you're just looking at lines and lights and darks and shades. You're not, let's not think about, you know, I have to draw Darcie, but I'm an artist. I'm looking at lines and shapes and volumes and line and, you know, contrasts and stuff like that. So try to think of it in artist mind, detach yourself from yourself a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. It's like counterintuitive, but the best way to like make something look accurate is to think about it abstractly. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, and that'll help you get your rough proportions also.
All right, so let me reshare my screen here so we can get into the color lesson. Okay, so what I'm going to be drawing off of is Joseph Alber's Interaction of Color. I very much recommend this book. It is just so cool, all the work that he did. He was like the lead professor at Yale for a long time and a really famous artist. It's very cool. I have some of his paintings here. This one's in the SF MoMA. It is like the coolest thing ever when you see it in person, because he just works very closely with like colors and obviously the way that they interact with each other. And this one just has like this very, very cool just visual effect when you see it in person, especially. And here's some more examples of his work. This one might also be at the MoMA, actually. Yeah. So to get started, we're going to play a game that demonstrates just like the way that colors interact with each other and how they can change each other in their relationships. And so I'm going to start by asking whether or not you think like two shapes are the same color or different colors. So what do you guys think of the brown squares in this one?
They look different.
They look different
But I have a feeling they're not.
because there's another color.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Okay, so, and then we'll go to this. So they're
Right.
the same,
Right,
exactly the same color. And it's just crazy how much,
right.
just because of what is around them. Okay,
That's
so
amazing.
this one is the green rectangles.
They look the same.
Well, this one, the orange one, the one on orange looks lighter to me.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's because of the color around it.
Yeah, so those ones are different.
Oh my God.
Actually,
Okay.
darker.
Interesting. Wow, that's interesting. Cool.
Yeah, that one is interesting. That one got me. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That was surprising.
Yeah.
And then, okay, this
Wow.
one, the red squares.
Well, they don't look the same shade to me,
Yeah, at all.
They look
Right.
different, yeah.
but so did that last one. Well, I was
Right with that
right, we're
blue.
different.
It's crazy. This one looks so purple here, and this one looks
Yeah.
very, very bright. It's really fun.
You see purple in that
Those
one?
ones are the
do.
same.
They're the
Oh,
same.
I don't.
I just see
Yeah.
a dark red. It looks darker for sure.
Yeah,
it looks
duller.
like very cool, like a cool
Yeah.
color.
Cool
It's
purple.
duller.
Yep, so exactly the same.
That's
And
amazing.
then gray rectangles in this one.
Different or
Honestly, this one I don't even remember, which is
these look the same to me, except the one on the left is reflecting the pink and the one on the right to me is reflecting the turquoise or whatever that blue is.
Yeah, no, that's great that you noticed that. You just like jumped ahead to what I was going to talk about later, so I'm glad.
Oh, sorry.
That is exactly,
thing.
no, that's great. That's exactly the effect that's going on.
So they're the
Yep,
same.
those ones are the same.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
And then there's this one.
It looks like the one on the right is darker, but again, now we can't trust our eyes, can we?
Yeah.
No.
Or our perception. I don't know if it's eyes or
Now
our
I see
mind.
purple in that left one.
Looks kind of grayish, the left side.
Yeah.
So those ones are super different.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh,
Look at
this
that.
is, okay.
Yeah, I
But
think
because
I
of the
I think this is the
darkness, it
last
makes it, yeah, the
Wow.
dark blue makes the thing look lighter, and the light pink makes the square look darker, like that seems to be the relationship.
Yep, exactly. And okay, here's the last one.
I'd say the one on the right looks like a brighter gold, but again, who knows?
Well, that white could be doing
Yeah,
it,
they look
right?
pretty different.
I'm gonna say different.
Different. That's all the
Look.
same.
Wow, it
same
makes it look
Background
really different.
makes a difference with that one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Is it same or different? Because it said different down there.
Different.
Oh, I wrote that wrong. Those are the same. That was my
Good
bad.
catch,
Yeah,
Pat.
I'm right.
Same, yeah.
Yeah, it's all the same
Same or
here.
different?
He's really trying to mess with our mind.
Good noticing.
Yeah.
Good noticing.
Yeah, good catch, Pat.
Yeah, so we're actually, to practice working with colors and the color relationships, we're going to try to make these like these. So yeah, as our workshop today. Yeah, so just to talk about like the main categories of color contrast that are really like in play in all of these. We have like obviously light versus dark, and so I just have like a grayscale here. And then the other really big contrast that is at play in these is like warm versus cool. Darcie mentioned that you guys talked about this before, but yeah, so the colors on the left side are all just like very warm. And then the cool colors, like ocean light colors, obviously on the right. And then this one I had a hard time coming up with a good photo for, so, but just like very like brilliant colors on the left versus more muted, like diluted ones, and that you like make them duller by mixing in the complementary. So yeah, and so this is like the key to those that you guys were all noticing. So the characteristics of the outer color are going to highlight the complementary characteristic in the middle color. So if you have like a red square in the middle, so a warm color, and then you put a cool color around it, it's going to make the middle one look even warmer. Versus if you put a warmer color on the outside, it would make it look cooler. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so if you wanted your background, say for this portrait, to be warm, then you're to do cooler colors.
If
So,
you want the background to be warm,
yeah.
yeah, then the face would have to be like cooler colors.
Okay, so anything you're trying to balance, like the color of someone's hair, watch how you're doing the color of the face so that they could do the warm and cold together. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, yeah, the overall idea is just that like whatever you put down affects the rest of it. So
Okay.
you just have to be like intentional about what you want out of the colors that you're putting down.
Okay.
Noticing the relationship. So say if you maybe had some colors on your palette, you might think ahead like, oh, I'm gonna use this range of shades for my picture. And then noticing, oh, if I have this turquoise and it winds up being next to this orange, well, look how that's going to affect it. So it's not that you should do this or you should do that.
Right.
But just
That's all I
noticing.
meant. Like, is that how you play off of it? Like if you're doing eyes in a portrait and you would want it to come into the eyes, what you would want the back, if the back was warmer, then the eyes are cooler.
Yeah, I do have an example of this in the painting that I did later on, just in the context of portraiture. But for now, yeah, I want us to get started just like trying to make these on our own, just because it's really fun to try and see how like good of a job you can do trying to make this effect happen. So, I should have put this up on the screen. I didn't think about that, but I think the first thing we should do is start by doing like a peach color in the middle square. So we're gonna set it up like, let me find the slide again, like these ones. And we're gonna try and put like a peach color in here and then try to make the two squares look like different colors, even though they're the same. Does anyone have questions? So you can put whatever you think should go around it to try to get that effect to happen.
So are we drawing are we drawing this and then painting it in?
Yeah, so you're just gonna paint one square of like two squares of a peach color, just here and here on your paper. And then around those, you're gonna put two different colors. So, and try to make the colors in the middle look like they're different.
Okay, so peach. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Make peach.
How do you make it?
White,
I would
white
do
and red.
white, red, and a little bit of yellow.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and just when you're trying to like mix specific colors, just keep those like contrasts in mind, and that'll help guide you as to what like you need to mix in. I need to grab my paints too.
I don't know if you guys will find it helpful, but my approach for this, and Kathryn, you can tell me how you do it. I usually put down the primary colors, red, yellow, blue, and then I put little white and black on my palette to kind of get started. And then you know, try to mix the pink and the dark blue or whatever, mix the different shades, but you've already got your paint kind of laying out there, so you can get it rolling on it. How do you
Yeah,
set up
exactly.
for that, Kathryn? Same?
Yeah, I do the same thing. Really, the primary colors are all you need to get like the whole range. So.
My, you're noisy today. Yeah. Yeah. Healthy.
Is anyone running into any questions or anything?
Not
Constant.
yet.
All right. Oh, just some advice to make this easier is I would pick just like one of the contrasts to focus on and then use that as your like two different sides.
Say again?
Yeah.
So you could either you could like focus on trying to make one square look really dark and one really light by putting like a light color on one, dark color on the other, or you could focus on warm versus cool or like the muted versus brilliant.
Okay.
Or a combination of them if you're feeling ambitious.
How big should we be making these squares?
Just however big is convenient. Mine here, I'll show you. They're just like that big. So I just did mine small. So I have room to do more later.
I can't see you. I see Darcie,
Ooh,
but I
sorry.
Oh, you might need to roll up your gallery, Fran, because if it only shows 4 or 5 people at a time and you got to see the other 3, you might need
Oh
to.
yeah, I can also, here, let me just,
okay. Yeah, that's better.
here we go. So mine just look like that. And then I'm gonna
Oh,
put
gosh.
the bigger
I made mine
squares around
gigantic.
those. Yeah, that works too.
Of course, I started right in the middle of the page.
Me too.
Planning.
Actually, not in the middle, but I took up a whole page to make it.
As many hours as I have painted dots and used millions of colors, I have no concept of what to pick.
You know, what you might think about, Shirley, is also, you know, when you have your palette there, if you have a blob of red, yellow, and blue
Which I
in
did.
like a little triangle, and then mix yourself a little bit of yellow and red in between those colors so you have orange there, and then so you're mixing your complementaries. Then you like, if you, for example, when I made my blue, the little gray, the light blue gray thing, I used some blue and white, but it was too bright, too sharp, or the hue was too high. So then I added a little bit of orange as a complement to bring it, to soften it, like what Kathryn showed us, that slide of dampening. So if you have those primaries and then you have the complementaries, you can mix the shades more easily and then bring a little white or black into it to give it the tone. Do you have other suggestions, Kathryn, on how Shirley can approach it?
Well,
Yeah,
I did that far. I got that far and I got the peach on there. And then I realized, oh my God, what am I supposed to put around it? Blue?
Yeah,
is
so
what
like
I-
I was saying before, like I would start by picking one of the 3 contrasts that I was just talking about. So I went through those kind of fast, but we have like light versus dark, like muted versus brilliant, and warm versus cool. And so then you can mix just one like cool color and put that on one side, and then one warm color and put that on the other. And that should, in theory, get the effect.
Is this kind of what you mean?
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, but this could have been a lot cooler. This is my darker one. And this is black and, no, blue and white. Black and white.
Yeah, I would encourage you, try to make sure that the colors meet each other. That'll help the effect better, so there's no like
Okay.
white space around.
I got a crappy brush.
What colors are we supposed to choose to go around
So just,
the
it's
square?
up to you to just like experiment and try to figure out what actually like makes the effect work. But yeah, I would recommend picking one of the contrasts and then going from there. It can be whatever. And then you could also like do multiple to see what works best to make them look the most different.
So you want contrasting colors?
Yeah, contrasting. So one side is going to be like one contrast, and then the color on the outside would be the other side.
Well, I see what you mean about meeting the square. then you can really see it.
Yeah, exactly.
Are both, oh God, I feel so dumb. Both squares, are they supposed to be the same color? The
The
back,
squares in the middle, yes.
You
But
might
the
need to
ones
put your,
around are going to be different.
put your screen share up again, Kathryn, maybe. That slide with the colors.
Okay, the squares in the middle are the same.
Let me
The
pull it
surrounding
up.
colors are different.
Yeah, here, let me.
Okay.
Hold on. Here we go. So on this one, these two colors are the same.
oh,
and then
oh, I
this,
see. But this
so on
is
one
a
side,
different one.
yeah, in this example, on one side, they put a very cool color, and then the other side, they put a really warm color
I got
to
it.
bring out the opposite in each.
Show the one that you had up with the dark blue on the right. I think it was the last one of those.
Yeah, that one was slightly different because it was two colors trying to look like
Right,
one.
that's what
Okay,
was,
because this is the one that I started working from. So I
Right, so
actually made the color on the right. You know, I made those two center colors based on the swatches at the bottom, and then I painted around it.
Oh,
So it was a little
sorry.
bit not
No,
really
that was
exactly.
probably,
right, okay.
yeah, my slides, I think, could use some work for this project. So sorry. So I'll leave this one up as
But we're going to
just
try a
an
couple different
example.
ones. Okay, yeah. We'll do
Yeah,
that.
exactly. So experimenting is good. We're just trying to get like comfortable mixing things and manipulating
Yeah.
colors to get them as like how you want them. So
And to see how that effect, like you said, with the warm and cool, how that works out.
yep, exactly.
Oops.
So I have been wanting to get a color wheel just to have, you know, as a reference.
You should just make your own.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I was about to
I've got
recommend.
something like that around here. I could find it because I'm wondering what my warm, cool compliments are to this particular blue. Right? I'm not sure what to
Yeah,
mix to go around them.
making your own color wheel and putting it up on the wall is a great exercise. I literally have one like right in front of me because that helps
Right.
you like try to get the colors right too, and then it's
Right.
like just great to have as a reference.
And then when you make your own color wheel, you understand it well.
Right.
And you can, you'll have an intuitive feel for how to build a complement of something because you've made your own, you understand the wheel better than just looking at it, I think. Nothing wrong with looking at a color wheel, and you might want to look at one while you make one. But for me, I like when I do that lesson with people, I just have those three primaries. And then, as I mentioned, I drag the two primaries of each one so that it's a circle, and you drag and you get those complements in the middle.
Right.
Once you have that premise down, that's a good helpful start.
Here's one. Okay.
And then the second one should be warm. I did a cool and now I should do a warm.
Mm-hmm.
Like warm. Oh my goodness.
All right, so I finished mine. Let's see. Did anyone else finish their first one?
Right.
I don't know how well I did it. I think this should be cooler and that one maybe should be lighter.
But
I
they
don't
look
know.
different.
They do? Okay,
Yeah,
that's good.
yeah.
I can't really tell.
Here's one that's kind
I
of,
spilled on mine.
mine kind of look the same. My values of my blue and my pink have the same value and my gray is the same. So I'm not sure if I'm getting the enough pop on the difference. You know? Maybe if my pink was a little brighter and lighter, I think that will give me more.
Pop.
And then
Yeah.
if my blue is a little bit more darker, I'll get more.
Yeah, I think both those are pretty like cool colors is what it's
Uh-huh.
like. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of dampened that pink down.
And how do we like?
Oh, that one looks
That's
good.
good, Patricia. Pat.
That's okay. I mix my own. I don't usually mix. So that's my own. Okay.
Yeah, that looks great.
I
So
got
yeah,
some
if you wanna
confusion.
do yeah,
I'm sorry. I have some confusion with warm and cool. Like,
Yeah, I can
Shirley's
put
got it.
that one back up for you. Hold on, where did that slide go?
Shirley's is pretty clear. I think
oh, that's good.
of warm and cool.
Yeah, that works. That's good because
Yeah,
you got that
so-
bright.
Each looks the same.
Yeah, so here's the color wheel
Okay.
divided up between warm and cool. And
Got
so
it.
warm colors, you can just think of it as they're very just like fiery. And then like these are all just like very like
On
ocean
the red
colors.
side and on the blue side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a good way, Melinda. The red side, the blue side, and then everything breaks down.
And don't forget about yellow though, too, but you know.
Right.
Where did you get this, Kathryn?
This
To a slide.
slide, oof, I just searched it up. It was
I'm gonna
just
get
from
one and
the-
cut it out. Okay.
So that is the basic color wheel right there.
Yeah, this is. And I can also
I could do
show the
that.
one that I have. Yeah, so here's the one that I have too. This particular design is like taken out of a book. But so on this one, like here's the warm colors and here's all like the cool.
So we could just Google color wheel and get a sample to be
Oh,
able to
dear.
make our own.
That's what I'm sensing here.
Yeah, for
I'll
sure.
call you after class. I'll call you after class. Okay, cool. Okay, bye.
Do we do more or are we done with doing?
Yeah, so go ahead. The next thing to try would be to pick two different colors that are like pretty similar. So like the example here. So like colors that are like about that different and then try to make them look the same. That would be the next exercise.
By what we put around them makes them look the same, but
Mhm.
they're actually going to be different. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha, gotcha.
That black or navy?
I see navy.
You see that?
Okay, so for the 2 colors as one, I'll just share what I'm going to be doing as an example. So I can't really. So on the side, I have like 2 yellowish colors. This side is much more pink, and then this one is like much more yellow. So around this one, I'm going to put something reddish, and then around this one, I'm going to put something yellow, so that it like cancels them out and makes them look more similar.
Gotcha.
What were the 2 squares? Could you hold it up again, please?
Yeah, for sure. So here I have like a very yellow one, and then here I have, this one's much more pink. So I'm going to put a reddish color around here and then a yellow color around here and see if I can get them to look closer.
So those are both going to be warm. They'll both be warm
Yeah.
background colors.
Well, so for this one, you're more looking at like what you're trying to
Reflection.
draw out of each color and like reflect.
Uh-huh.
Because whatever you put around is going to emphasize the complementary aspect in the middle. So. Okay.
Oh.
So I don't know how good of a job I did, but there it is.
That looks pretty good. That's pretty good, Kathryn. Yeah.
How did you get the color in the middle?
The color in the middle, let's see, I used white and yellow ochre for one side, and then I just mixed in red and more white for the other one. So one was a lot
Squares.
more pink.
The square.
Wait, sorry.
The square in the
Yeah.
middle.
Yeah,
Oh.
the one in the middle. So that was white and yellow ochre
Okay.
on the left. I'm confused because it gets mirrored. And then on the right, it was more white and a little bit of yellow ochre and red.
I don't think I did this right. I can't remember what it's supposed to be now.
No worries.
Wait, were
Shirley.
you're trying to do the 2 colors as one?
I was trying to do the darker, lighter,
Mm-hmm.
and then the cool and the warm. And I think they were supposed to end up the same. I'm not sure. I can't. It's 3
Yeah.
concepts. I'm too old for this.
Me
Oh,
too,
for that
Shirley.
one,
I
I
got
would-
one mixed up too. Don't worry. That's how we
try
learn.
I'm totally mixed up too. So what I'm doing right now is 2 different color grays, and then I'm going to put 2 warms around them. Correct?
Oh, too warm. See, I put oh.
Oh, you could do whatever you want. I'm asking. I'm
Yeah,
asking. Can we
Shirley,
do
for
2
yours,
warm?
Yeah, you definitely can. For the one where you're trying to make 2 look like 1, it's a lot
Yeah.
more complicated because you have to try and figure out what makes the 2 colors different. And
Okay,
then you're gonna so if one side is dark and one side is light, you're gonna put something even darker around the side that's dark and something even lighter around the side that's light. Because then
Oh,
that will bring the 2 middle ones closer together.
Pink is too dark. It should
Yeah,
be
so that's what I was about to say. Yeah, the pink should be a lot lighter.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I understand it. That's amazing. Oh my gosh.
Okay, Kathryn. I
Alright.
had 2 the same. See that blue and that gray? Not that guy, this guy.
Uh-huh.
So I did blue and yellow. And this one looks darker unless it's just not dry, or I made it darker. They seem the same to me. Is that kind of something?
Wait,
That's
so are
right.
those
So
ones,
you,
are those ones different or the same? The
They're the
grays?
same, but look at, well, I
Oh
thought
yeah,
it was the same.
they look
And
super
look at what the
different. That's
color
good.
did. The yellow made it darker
mhm,
Mhm.
and the blue
'Cause you-
stays just what it is.
Made
Is
it
that what you
lighter.
mean?
Yep.
Did I do it right?
Yeah,
yes.
that looks great.
I got one that's pretty, I don't know if you can see it on here. These
Yeah.
colors are actually different. The
Okay.
grays are actually, one is lighter, one is darker. But I made like dark green over the dark one and bright yellow over the light one. And so those two middle values look to be the same, but yet they're not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
one
those
worked.
definitely look the same.
Wow. That's
I
amazing.
lightened up my other one and it's now because I lightened the pink and made it less dampened, it now looks darker and the blue
Oh, yeah.
makes it look lighter
Yes.
in effect, but actually those were the same.
Okay, I get the
There.
concept.
I'm kind of clueless on the thing about where they're different and trying to make them look the same. So this one, they're not terribly different. But they are different. But I have no idea what to put around this one.
Blue.
A blue?
Blue.
Wait, so you're trying to
Purple?
make them look the same?
Yeah. And I
I
know they
would
look
do-
awful lot the same, but here they
Purple?
look different.
Yeah, so I think the one that you haven't painted around yet looks redder, right?
Yes.
There's like more red in that one.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I would put like maybe a dark red around that.
Okay.
Just see what that does. You could just experiment.
Okay.
Ralph, do you have your paints out? Are you observing over there today?
I did grab a little bit of color pencil, messing around
Oh,
with it.
there you go.
I
Okay.
can't figure this camera thing out.
Yeah, when you have the backdrop thing, it's hard to see the picture.
Oh, yeah.
I can see it. I can see it kind of nice.
It sort of, it comes out. Yeah, I'm messing around. I'm trying
It's like a
out.
psychedelic experience for us when we see trying to show.
It is.
But I
It's a
could
trip.
see it. I could see it a little bit. Nice. It's
Yeah.
fun to play with. As artists, we know it's so fun to play with color. I just love to slap the paint on. I don't even care what it looks like. It's just fun to play with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's why I chose this one, just because it's so fun to just mess around and like see what you can do.
And it's a good learning too, to play with the colors in this way, mixing different, how do I bring the value down, the dark versus the light, the warm versus the cool. So you're playing, but you're learning a lot. I am anyway.
Mm-hmm. It's a good way to analyze too, just like what colors are made of and everything, and learn that.
Hey, Kathryn, that guy you love so much, the artist, who I'm coming to like, Bernard?
Bernard, yeah.
Yeah, he does a lot of mixing of color, it looks like. Like there's all splotches. It feels like they all play off of each other. Am I right?
Yeah, exactly. He's very into like just color relationships and everything. And this is only like one of the very many different ways that like colors can affect each other. Like there's some really cool stuff in the Albers book about how like putting certain colors next to each other make them literally like glow off the page, or like vibrate in your field of vision too. And yeah, just the glowing effect, I definitely think is something Bernard does a lot with. So
Like that.
But what is that book that you've mentioned that you like a lot that you were using today?
yeah, it's Joseph Albers' Interaction of Color.
Okay.
And I can share these slides with you guys too, if that would be helpful.
Yeah.
And
that would
I think makes me think of Rothko also. He has
Me
those
too.
giant, his paintings are quite gigantic, but he uses like a way he counterposes colors, it's a lot similar to what we're doing here.
Yeah,
And he doesn't do anything else besides that. It is just that.
Rocco is the same age as ours, just like trying to figure out like what you can do with color to make it useful in terms of like expressivity. So, which is exactly what we're working on. Oh, I don't know if I did a good job with what I'm working on now. See what you all think. All right, here's the one that I just did.
Yeah,
Red and the blue.
they look.
Yeah,
they
so
look
they're
the same.
supposed to look the same.
Right.
Okay.
Yep, that's pretty close. They look pretty close.
Because
So that would be an example of a pool in the center and two warms on the outside.
Right.
wait,
Did you have-
sorry.
Wait, what?
Two warms on the outside. You got a red and a blue, and then the
And this one,
yellow is a pool.
The blue is a cool.
Right.
so blue
Blue's
would be
cool.
cool, and then my red is a warm red.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, the
And the
warm
reason why I
colors are-
did that is because I mixed a lot of blue into this one. So
Right.
this is a much cooler color than this one. So I was
Okay.
trying to make it look warmer by putting something really cool around it,
Gotcha.
and then vice versa on that side.
Yeah, and just to go with the warm ones are like fire, you know, yellow, gold, and orange and red. And the cool
blues and-
ones are like night sky, purple, blue, chilly, cold. You know, green is considered to be a cool color, but it has yellow in it. And so the extent of yellow makes it warmer.
Got it.
And yellow's on the warm side, right?
Yellow's a warm color. If it's just straight on yellow, it'd be falling probably, oh, you know, you could, depending on the kind of yellow, if you squeeze yellow
Right.
out of your paint tube, if you have yellow that has some blue mixed into it, so it leans toward green, then it's leaning to the cool. And if
Right.
it's has a little bit of more warmth, it has then a tinge of red, it'd be leaning toward orange. You'd
Right.
be more yellow, orange, red would be warm. But you could have kind of a chartreusey kind of a
Mm-hmm.
yellow green that would start blending into the family of cool as it gets more toward blue.
Right.
Yeah, the distinctions are a little bit arbitrary in terms of
Yeah,
like warm
exactly.
versus cool, but
And same thing when you'd say red would be a warm or a hot color, but if as it goes, you mixing it toward blue as a typically you'd consider to be
Right.
standard, like an ultramarine blue is a cooler color, and you'd mix red and blue together, it's purple. So is that if it has a lot of red, it might appear kind of warm, but it's basically purple is going to be in the cool family anyway. So, but like Kathryn said, it's not
isn't
exact.
there a warm or cool on every color? So you
Depends.
can have a warm red or a cool red.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
because like a fire truck red would be like a warm red, and then a cool red would be like burgundy. So that's like
Right.
the-
Okay.
Because it has blue in it, and the
Right.
more yellow you would add to the red, it would be more warm kind of. But yeah, it's not like there's a hard stop line between
Right.
these things. It's gradation and the mixture.
I don't think on the first one, the idea was to same color, different effect. They look the same to me.
The blues,
Yeah.
to me they look different. Maybe it's
Do
just the
they?
computer screen,
Okay.
but the one with the orange around it looks a lot lighter to me.
Okay. Okay.
And I mean, I guess each of us has a different unique set of eyes. So there may be, and we're
Yeah,
looking at
that's
things
true
on a
too.
computer screen with light slanting on it and various other variables there. So again, imperfect science here. We're just kind of getting in the ballpark, understanding the basic ideas.
Fun exercises. This was cool.
Yeah.
It stretched my brain.
Yeah, good. And hopefully, you know, it's a good stuff thinking about going into your painting with your self-portrait. It opens the horizons of, oh, you know, you can paint like the exact colors that you see, because you also now you have a little more reference on how to mix those colors. but also it might give you a jumping off point to be a little more playful and open with the color. Maybe there's
Right.
going to be, just going for warm and cool against each other or dark and lights, and, playing with what color does as opposed to just trying to copy it up real.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of the point of these exercises is just to like think about the fact that color just has like limitless potential for manipulation and like expressivity. So especially since with this project, I'm encouraging, it's not like a have to, but encouraging everyone to like do it from memory. And so that too, you can just be like, okay, like what colors am I going to pick and how will those affect like how this feels and the visual effects that it creates and everything. So, yeah.
Like you said, to have the picture for reference, right? But you don't necessarily use it. You wanted us to just remember what we did, correct?
Yeah, and I'm gonna go over my example that I made, and hopefully that'll clear some of that stuff up as well.
The one that you did that was a color mixing as a kid and then later on? The one that you
No,
did?
this one I like did the project that I'm leading, so I did like the drawing from observation and then a painting from memory. So I'll go over that. Yeah, so where's everyone at right now? Maybe I could get started with that part of the presentation if people are ready.
Yeah, I am. I don't know.
Are these two pools? Is this all cool? Too cool for school?
Cool, except for yellow. Yellow is warm.
Yellow and purple
Purple,
complementing, right?
yeah, but that tricky line of purple with red in it.
You saw it. It was in my brush. I didn't get it out. Okay, I'm ready whenever you guys are ready.
All right, sounds good. So I'm gonna share my screen again. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm just gonna walk through an example that I did of the process of working from the drawing and from memory and then into a painting. Oops. Okay, so here's the drawing that I did. I picked one that I did like a few months ago just because I've always really liked this one and I'd been meaning to do this project with this drawing anyway. So this is what I was referencing. So I started off by just doing like an overall sketch of that drawing just to get it down on my canvas, and I was using canvas paper. Obviously the proportions are a bit off in this, but I like fixed them as I went along. So this was just to like sketch in the composition. And then I taped up the sides just to make it look clean. And then I would recommend using a fixative if you're gonna do graphite and then acrylic over it, just so that the graphite doesn't smear into the acrylic, because that's something that's always bothers me, because then the colors don't come out like clean. Yeah, all the tips I'm giving is just stuff to like work with color specifically. And so this is something that I do. This is just my personal way of working with acrylics. I don't do this when I'm working with oil, but I don't like the fact that acrylics are transparent. So I like to put down a ground first so that any colors I put over appear more opaque. And so I just did like generally the color that was gonna go in those areas. So just like a generic, like, okay, that's my skin color, and generic, that's my hair color. So from there, I just started working. And one thing I would recommend, just if like the idea is that you're just trying to be very intentional with colors, is to put colors down in shapes instead of trying to blend them on the paper. So you decide what color you're going to put down, you mix it on your palette, and then you put it down in a shape instead of trying to work with it once it's already on the canvas. Because trying to do it the other way, like typically ends up making the colors look like muddied and not as like crisp and clear and like purposeful. So, and then that was the next session that I worked on. And yeah, and you can see that just like looking at the shapes of the colors a lot that I was doing in here. And just the way that I was referencing my drawing too, specifically, you can see it a lot here. It was in the initial drawing. my hand here was just like completely blank, and I liked that about the first one. So I'm like, okay, since that like struck me as something really interesting, I'm gonna keep that in the painting. So that's why I was using the drawing as a reference.
Say that again,
for
Kathryn.
how I was doing it.
You liked the hand in which sense that you wanted to preserve about it?
Oh, I just like that the hand didn't have very much like definition to it, that I just
Right.
left it like very white in the drawing versus like I have a lot of shading on the face.
I see.
So
Yeah,
I
gotcha.
decided to keep that in the next one. So that's just a way that you can use your drawing in the painting.
And another thing I'm noticing, and maybe you're going to get there into it, about the light versus dark areas.
Sorry, what were you noticing?
The light versus dark.
Like on your
As you-
chin and your forehead.
As you place the color patches, you're
Oh, yeah.
preserving the lighter areas and darker areas.
Yeah, exactly. That's the main thing that I was doing, that I was using the drawing for sure, was like looking at where the values are. So like there was a lot of like dark spots around like my eyes and obviously here. And so that's what I was doing. And then in all the other places, I would just come up with a color that I just like felt was right, based on what I know about color and how they're gonna like look together and everything.
For example, just to dig a little deeper here, because we are learning about this, that, you know, the sort of a pinkish tone is representing your flesh, as you said, but then now you're using purple, and I even see some green there. So you've chosen those as your shade areas. So those are your your intentional choices about how you're gonna show the shadow part of, instead of making dark pink, you've used, say, purple or even green.
Yeah, exactly. That's a very like impressionistic way of thinking about color too, is they were the ones that said that like shadows are going to be the complementary color to the light parts. And so that's what I was doing here. So like I have the shadow, or like most faces of the parts of the face, sorry, that are in light are pretty warm. And then the shadows here are all very like cool and purple. So yeah, and then I kept working on the hair, and I was again using the contours that I had drawn out in my initial drawing to like decide where I was gonna divide up the shapes of color. Because at certain points, like where was it? I think in here I wasn't doing that, and then I decided it didn't look as good as like following the drawing and just being very intentional about where those colors are being placed. And then, oh yeah, so then I came to a dilemma where I needed to decide what I was going to do for the background. And so my two options were either just try to put in something cool or try to put in something warm. And so I was thinking about this, and the cool colors were going to definitely make my face look a lot warmer, versus here it makes them look cool. It makes my face look a lot cooler. So I decided to go with the cool colors because I didn't want to look, you know, kind of like deathly and pale and like cool, because usually skin tones are very warm. So yeah, and then that is the finished drawing. I put in a little bit of like what was behind me, a door, for just atmosphere. Yeah.
Beautiful.
How did it go
Nice.
from the red to the blue background? It
Well,
just,
she didn't use the red, she just considered it.
Oh yeah, sorry. So this is a
okay.
great way to figure out like where you want to go with your colors too. Is so I took a photo and then I used like
Right.
the little markup tool on my phone to just like draw in virtually different colors in the background, just to experiment and see which I liked better. Yeah.
It's 3 o'clock.
And then, so then she took the concept of the bright, she had in the other picture, the bright blue background, the cool. So she went
I
with
see.
cool, but then she softened and dampened that cool, and it makes it drop way back, and it brings the figure to the foreground and gives you that warmth that she mentioned, that because of the contrast and between the lights and or the warms and cools. And beautiful result. And also the play between what's light and what's dark gives it more, you know, your eye hops around and feels it more.
Wow.
Love it.
I'm impressed.
That's really
And
nice.
that choice of leaving the hand with less, less shading, let's say, you know, just these choices that one makes. You have those options, you know, oh, I like how this looks. I'm not gonna fill it in, you know, because I
Mhm.
said so. But it also brings it forward, you know, it makes that hand, because it's a lighter color with less shading, it stands forward, which it's kind of is in the composition. It actually would be the forward facing thing, because her arm is out in front of her face. And then
Did
that
you also use warm, in the top part, it looks like it's kind of a purplish or pinkish on top of the blue. Am I
Oh, up
seeing
here?
that right?
Yeah, I did do like
Okay.
3 different colors in the background, just because
And it
that's what,
really
if you
makes
look like,
the worm pop out.
yeah, I did that because if you look at my wall, it like does do that, where it's like warmer at the top, probably because my lights, and then it gets like cooler. So that was the thinking there. That was like something I was working from observation. But yeah, those choices also then affect like the rest of it, and that's what we're thinking
it's
about
nice
today.
it does pick up some of the tones in the face, so it kind of brings the picture together, even if it wasn't consciously for that reason.
Mhm.
And also, you know, I forgot what I was gonna say, never mind.
Wow.
Gotta go now. Bye, everybody.
Oh,
Okay, have fun at the wedding,
Bye.
Pat.
Kathryn.
Yeah, have fun.
See you next week.
Okay, nice to meet you,
Bye.
Raphael. Okay,
Okay, so hey, Kathryn, or I guess so. Oh, yeah, Pat, I was gonna say, if you need the assignment, the rest of the assignment, maybe you can watch the end of the video, or Kathryn can let us know
yeah,
how to
because I'm
proceed.
gonna be working on it. So
Are you gonna go ahead and, should they just go ahead and bust out a portrait and try it, or do you have more?
Yeah, that was all I had actually from the presentation. I was gonna encourage people next to just get started, see if you want any like advice, troubleshooting things. Yeah.
Okay,
well,
so the next time, we're gonna not meet next week because I
Right.
have got the street fair. So when the following meeting, and Kathryn, if you're up for it, we can check in on the portraits.
okay.
Yeah.